is Jamaica 5288, by the way. And I know that the sun is going to burn some of my Swiss chard. Actually, it already has. So, before tomorrow, I'm going out here and before it gets dark, and I'm going to harvest. I've already harvested some. Look at that. Especially this side. This is where the sun hits most of the time. So I'm gonna set you up and we're gonna cut down some. Let's see how much we get. This is what happens if you don't harvest in time. See that? That's how they can look. Back to the landfill. Inventory time. I love Swiss chard. I just love Swiss chard. Look at that. I know it's on the ground. It came from the ground. We'll go inside and we'll see what's up. Inventory time. Look at that. Let me roll it out for you. Grow your own stuff. Oh, Lord. All of that winter prepping and putting these in the ground in January. Some of them I just put out. But look. I gotta can that because we can't eat that. We can't eat all that. I don't know how many pounds this is, but it's a lot. I couldn't let the sun get it. I could not let the sun get this. making a mess. So normally if you're going to freeze anything, you're required, or you should, blanch it. And by blanching it, what was that? By blanching it, I mean put it in boiling hot water for at least 3 to 5 minutes. Then you freeze it. Otherwise, you could freeze it burn and it doesn't taste right. That's what they do to a lot of the vegetables that you buy in the frozen food department. They blanch it before they freeze it. It helps to preserve it. And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna blanch it, and then I'm gonna can it or freeze it, depending on how late it is. I'll bring it back because it's gonna take forever. Goodness, I have it on the stove. Put some swine in there. I've been bad. Seasoned it up, and I'm gonna cook it down, and then I'm gonna can it. I am not gonna blanch it. Just gonna, I'm not gonna freeze it. I'm just gonna cook it, cool it down, and can it. And it's the next morning, I'm refreshed, revived, and I'm here. Man. So, the Swiss chard has cooled off. Got my canner out there. What you need to do is make sure you put your rack in there and fill your rack, and make sure you fill this water point thing up to the point that is designated for your canner. So follow the instructions for your canner in reference to making sure that you have the right amount of water in there. Do not forget the rack, okay? Then I have some vinegar in here. We're gonna pour a little bit of vinegar in the water so that our bottles don't become cloudy. We have a lot of calcium deposits in the water out here in Texas, and if you don't put vinegar in it, you'll have like this white, hazy film on the outside of the bottle. So I have my greens here, my Swiss chard, And I put pork in this. So if you put any meat into your vegetable mixture, you have to process the bottles to the furthest time, to the larger time. So because there's meat in here, instead of 35 minutes processing time, I have to increase it to 90 minutes for meat. So last time you all saw me with the fish in there, and fish is 100 minutes. But meat, any meat, 90 minutes. Or go to your canning, your ball canning book. Okay? And that's pressure canning. That's not water bath canning. So I'm gonna be nice with it this time. Let me get a teaspoon. A teaspoon for iced tea. Push this down. I always try to get as many greens in the bottle as possible. I do not want a can or a jar full of water. Now, when you're filling these things up, you see that line right there? Do not bring any liquid or any solids above that line, or your can might not seal. Another thing, make sure that you, pour this water, wash your bottles. These bottles have this strange smell in it. I don't know if it's glass residue. Wash your bottles. Sterilize your bottles. I just wash mine. For pressure canning, they don't require you to sterilize it, but wash them. Wash them thoroughly, or sterilize them if you want to do that. And sterilize them, you can put them in the oven, or you can put them in your canner and boil them. Some people boil the lids also. I don't do that either. I just wash them and I wipe them off with some vinegar. Make sure that's not above the line. The last thing I want to do, I'd rather be below the line a little bit than over the line and have this thing not sealed, because then we have to either eat it or pressure can it again, which I don't want to do. I only want to pressure can one time. One time per vegetable, per bottle, if of that bottle, until I refill it again. I don't want to process it twice, and I've had to do that. So, we got our Swiss chard from the garden to the table. Harvest your vegetables and preserve them, whether you put them in the freezer or you refrigerate them. Pick them before the animals, bugs, or the sun, in our case, kills it. Summer is here. Definitely here. This is the first year for this Swiss chard, so I should have it for one more year if the sun doesn't give it a nice kiss on the lips. By kiss, I mean burn it to all, H-E-double-L. Okay, the water is above on this one. Let me pour it off. Make sure it's below. See that? I want it below. I want all of the material below the line. Below the line. Do not cross this line. This is a lot of Swiss chard. It's a lot. I'm so happy. I'm harvesting all these greens and processing them. Because I'm not gonna do all that work and just let it go to go to vegetable heaven in a rabbit or a bug's belly, or just die. Just burn up. Most of the good leaves burn up. No. I waited long enough to harvest this thing anyway. It's been going for a little while. I harvested already. I mean, this thing is cut and come again. You got too much in here. This thing is cut and come again. I don't cut the whole, I've seen some gardeners just cut the whole thing off, and I'm like, what are they doing? Why did you do that? I can understand a farmer doing that, maybe because of time, because they have so much. But a gardener, you break the leaves off that you want, and you let that plant continue to grow. You don't just pull the whole plant out the ground. That's a bad mistake. That's a bad mistake. That plant is still alive. Just because you break off a couple of leaves, does not mean that the plant should be uprooted. Just keep it in the ground, cut off what you want, and then come back and do it again. And for God's sake, don't cut it down to like there's only 2 leaves on there. You make sure there's enough leaves on there for the photosynthesis to continue. The plant needs leaves in order to produce energy for itself. It needs the sun. We get a lot of sun here though. Sometimes the sun overdoes it, but today's a cloudy day. I think it's gonna rain. I hope so. It hasn't rained here in like 2 weeks. I am, you know, I'm tired of going out there and watering. Although I do it, takes about an hour. I have to go from garden bed to garden bed unless I just want to let the sprinkler go. And then I'm wasting water. So I'm watering grass. Grass is a big waste of time to me. Grass or weeds or things that look like grass, I don't care. Grass is, I'm not going to talk about grass because, you know, I live in a place that they like grass. But, man, that's a waste of space. Waste of space. And the more I do this gardening thing, the more I realize that the more grass I have, first of all, I got somebody who comes out here and cuts it for me. That's an expense. And then I have to go to the store and buy vegetables that I could be growing on my own property. It's just senseless. Because I want grass or lawn? No. I guess it's something that we learned. That is how people used to show their wealth. You know, they used to go out there and grow their grass. This is a long time ago. Just to show people, you know what, I have so much money, I don't have to grow vegetables. I could just grow grass. I could water and grow grass because I'm rich. I ain't rich. I gotta grow some vegetables to survive. Plus, and the reason why I started canning, let me tell you a sad story because this was sad. I lost maybe, I think about $1,000. I had a deep freezer full of meat, full of frozen vegetables, right? This is was it during the lockdown? It was. When the stores, you couldn't get to the stores. Man, I didn't know it wasn't working. I didn't know until I went in there and everything was defrosted and stinky and some of it was starting to smell. You could smell the bacteria forming on everything in there. And I just had to throw everything out. That was the turning point for me. I was like, you know, and I already knew how to can. There was no excuse. It was just, and I still got stuff in the freezer. I'm talking like this now. I still have stuff in the freezer. I have little faith on the electrical system and shoot anywhere. I have little faith. After that happened, and I just had to throw everything in the trash. Everything. It was a sad day. So if you ask, Jamaica, why are you canning? Why are you canning everything like crazy? That's why. Because I lost a lot of money. Ain't nothing like throwing out a freezer full of food. Nothing like it. You'll never forget it. Especially when you don't want to go to the store. There's some contagion out there. I don't want to go to no supermarket. It happened before the prices went up, but I didn't want to go to no supermarket and expose myself, even with a mask. I mean, I went to the eye doctor, and the eye doctor was like, you know what, when you go out, you put your glasses on. I was like, well, I got LASIK during the pandemic, and he was like, if you go out there, you can catch disease through your eyes. Nobody knows that. Nobody talks about that. Somebody talks, and you get some of their bodily fluids in your eyes, you can catch a disease. So he was like, if you go out there, wear some shades. You should be wearing shades now anyway. He didn't have to tell me what it was. Ask your eye doctor, can you catch it? Because it's just like you swallowing it. Your eyes it absorbs stuff. It's a wet environment, perfect for bacteria and viruses. I'm not saying that it's gonna happen, but it could. Bacteria especially. All right, so I got my jars filled. I'm running my mouth. I am so happy with the progress that's going on in the garden. Garden to table. Making a mess. Let me move these over because I'm a little bit clumsy. I'm a little bit country and I'm a little bit. Remember Donnie and Marie? Man, I used to watch them all the time. The Osmond? Was the Osmond? No, the Osmond Brothers was another company. Was another one. Anyway, Donnie and Marie. I forget their last name. I didn't know Marie. I was wondering where they came from until she started showing up, for that commercial for weight loss. I was like, oh, she looks fabulous. And I was like, man, I gotta get together. She's older than I am. She looks good. All right. I remember when she was like the Princess Diana of the United States. When she got married, oh man, it was such a big deal. Everybody was so happy. Everybody. I mean, I don't know if everybody, but I know I was. I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, Marie Osmond. It was Osmond. Marie Osmond just got married. Oh my God. I want to see the wedding. I want to do this. So, like, I was a part of it. I was watching it on TV in New York City. I felt like I was part of the family. I felt like I was a part of the family. I watched it religiously. Okay. On the good TV, not the black and white. not the one with the hanger for the antenna. I watched it on the good TV. I would tell my brothers, y'all need to go. Y'all need to go. I cook dinner. Y'all go and eat, and I'm going to watch. That's all I ask, is that y'all leave me in peace to watch this show, because this is my show. Oh, man, that brings back some memories. And the good TV was in my parents' room. They gave us the broken down one with the hanger as the... We were poor. we were not rich. We took one of them freaking hangers from the closet, wire hanger, and that was the antenna, because we had broke the antenna, because you keep on moving that antenna trying to get the signal, right? The bunny ears, and then it breaks on you. At first the tip break off, and then you can't pull it out anymore, and then you can't get a thing. So we jerry-rigged it and put a hanger on it. Ghetto fabulous, I tell you that, but it worked. It worked. Somebody walk by and block your signal. Get away from the TV. Or they get close to where the antenna is and the signal gets better. Stay right there. Stay right there. Don't you move. Somehow you have an electromagnetic pulse and the TV's working better. It's not fuzzing. It's not zipping in and out. And then y'all remember when at 12 o'clock that American flag would show up on the TV? We had no more television shows. That was like United States has shut down. You see that flag, you be like, oh no! On the weekend, I'm loud. On the weekend, you watching TV because your parents ain't gonna say it. Mine didn't. They were like, you watch TV all night long as y'all, you ain't got no school in the morning. As long as you get up before 9 o'clock and clean the house. On Saturday, we had to clean the house. Man, that flag will come on that TV. I'll be like, oh man, now what am I gonna do? Because without that, I was in New York City, couldn't go outside at nighttime. And I didn't want to play with my brothers. They were. Let me see. How could I say it? They were not girl friendly. They were like, you're a girl. I don't want to play with you. Well, my older brother, we didn't have a choice because we were stuck in the house, so he would play with me every now and then. But the little one, he was always difficult. Always. He was always difficult. He was the baby. The baby is usually the one that's spoiled. We were jealous of him. We're not jealous of him anymore. Well, I'm not. But when we were kids, man, he caught HELL. He had the pick of whatever he wanted to do, right? And my mom, she coddled him like a golden child. He could do no wrong. He could do no wrong, man. He didn't have to do nothing. She had us as like little slaves, cleaning up the house and doing the dishes and washing the clothes, and she had us doing everything. He didn't do nothing that I can remember until I left. When I joined the Army, I was like, okay, slavery is over. I'm out of here. Y'all gonna have to fend for yourself. Now, only one I really felt sorry for was my older brother because he couldn't cook. He could not cook. He was sad too. Well, Jamaica, you really gonna leave? I could see him, the sadness in his eyes. He was like, what am I gonna eat now? I'm sorry, brother, I got to go. That's a good way to get your kids out of the house. Put them to work. put them to work. I remember when I went to basic training, they were like, you want to go home to your mama? And I thought to myself, oh, hell no. I'm going to go back home to her. No. What you want me to do? I ain't going back there. There's more work there than there is here. I'll stay. She was something else. Jamaican women. And I don't know about your Jamaican mama, but my two matriarchs, my grandma and mama, oh, they ruled with an iron fist. They tell you do something, you better do it. And not make a peep. They don't want to hear peep out of you. That's what they used to say. They better not hear peep out of you. Like with chickens. Peep, peep, peep. I better not hear peep out of you. Not one peep. Now that's a Jamaican saying that. I better not hear peep out of you. I never heard anybody else say that except a Jamaican woman. My family. Man, that meant if they heard you say anything, mumble under your breath, they're going to come in there and tear you up. And there was no such thing as child abuse back then. And now this never happened to me because this was super embarrassing. So at school, I went to public school. Well, initially I went to Catholic school, but I went to public school, right? The nuns, first of all, when in Catholic school, the nuns used to tear us up. You spell a word wrong, and they had that paddle or a ruler, the wooden ruler. Man, they'd make you hold your hands out and they would slap you, or the paddle, they'd hit you on your butt with the paddle. And the paddle had holes in it, right? So that it would break, the wind wouldn't slow it down, the momentum. They were something else. I thought that was only happening in Catholic school, right? So I begged my parents to take me out of Catholic school when we moved from Brooklyn. I was wrong. I go to public school, right? And elementary school, which is grade 1 through 6. Back then, that was 1 through 6. First, kindergarten through 6th grade. And I went in there in like 3rd grade, right? So 3rd grade, everything was cool. I had this nice Caucasian teacher in 3rd grade and in 4th grade. 5th grade, sisters. 5th grade and 6th grade, 2 sisters. Miss Farley and Miss Murray. Miss Farley was 5th grade and Miss Murray was 6th grade. Man, Miss Farley, she was cool. She was cool. We didn't get no whippings in front of Miss Farley. I guess she didn't believe in corporal punishment. But Miss Murray, she was old school. Old school. And 2 of her daughters were going to the elementary school the same time that we were. Miss Murray will beat you. Call your parents. No, it happened in 4th grade too. They were giving one of the Caucasian teachers a hard time. That's the first time I ever seen somebody get their butt whipped in front of class, besides the nuns. Because the nuns wouldn't call your parents. The nuns would do it themselves. They would do it themselves, and if you caused too much trouble, they would call your parents in and tell them, look, I'm going to kick them out of the school. They're not welcome here anymore. That's how parochial school works. I'm going to have to go get this rooster. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So back to what I was saying. Her name was Miss Strauss. So Miss Strauss, they was giving that Caucasian teacher the blues. I forget what the boy's name was. And she went and told the principal. I think the principal, I don't know. Anyway, the principal called the boy's parents. His parents came in there. First they took him outside and talked in the hallway. Then they brought him back in front of the classroom, and his dad beat his behind in front of all of us. Everybody just sat there. No one made a peep. None of the kids. We were all terrified because we could see ourselves being in that exact same situation, because I know my mom, if she had to take off work, or God forbid, I would hope that it was my mother, because my mother's hits weren't as bad. So his dad took his belt off. Oh my God. The boy was scratched. That belt was stinging. You could feel it. He hit him like 2, maybe 4 times. Really hard. And then he said, now you go back and you sit at your desk, and you better not give this lady any more problems. We better not have to come back up here again. He ain't getting no more trouble. That was it. I don't remember him getting in trouble no more ever. That was so embarrassing. You know, it was different when the nuns did it, because everybody was getting beat by the nuns. The nuns were just mean. They were just mean. But for your parent to come out there, and this was not an everyday affair at parochial school, at Catholic school, that was an everyday affair. Somebody's gonna get their butt whipped, or they're gonna bust their head open. We used to play this game called Coco Livio. So Coco Livio, you hold your hands together, right? You a bunch of us, like, there'd be two groups of people, and they're holding their hands together, and one person from the other team that are holding their hands together tries to run and break through your chain. And then, you know, you call them, you catch them, you say, Coco Livio, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, real quick. You don't like my story? I got him in a cage. We gonna have a conversation, right? Rudy? Making all that noise. Anyway, man, people would break through that thing and hit that brick wall and crack their skull open. A lot. So, anyway, back to what the boy never got in trouble. All he did after his father beat him, or spanked him, and it wasn't long, it was just hard. You know, when you hit a kid right, you ain't gotta just keep on hitting them. You hit them a couple of good times, oh, that they get the point. So he went back to his desk, put his head, closed his shoulders, and put his head down on the desk. Man. So, fast forward, 6th grade, me. I don't know what I did, but Miss Murray didn't like it. And Miss Murray had a habit of calling you. Her desk was in the back of the room. Most teachers have their desk in the front, on the side. She was in the back of the room. So she would put our schoolwork up and tell us to, you know, turn the page, what and whatnot, and do our work. And then she would watch from the back of the room. So you couldn't see her, but she could see you. I don't know what I did. Miss Murray said, Jamerica, I need you to come back here right now. I saw what you did. So I like, you know, I was a little thin, little nothing. And I walked back there. She said, hold your hands out. And I did. I knew what was coming because I had already experienced it in Catholic school. Man, she said, all the way out like that. And she hit me with that ruler, I don't know, 3 times. That hurt so bad. I was like, she's worse than us. She's worse. She said, and I should go and tell your mom. I know your mom. I should go to your house and tell your parents what you did. And I was like, oh, Lord, please. Because then you get a beating from her, and then she go to your parents' house because she was from the neighborhood, and you get another beating. It wasn't fair. It was unjust. So I'm out of Swiss Chard. I think she did come to my house. But I think my mom thought I had suffered enough. Because they don't talk to the fathers, they talk to the mothers. And mothers give out more beatings than fathers usually, at least in my family. And when it came to me, my dad, he hit me maybe one time. Man, whew. It was something my brother did. And then he found out that it wasn't me, and he took me out for ice cream. And I was like, this ice cream was not worth that beating. I don't want you to figure ice cream. I want you not to touch me again. Beat him. So, anyway, how did I get on that? The Swiss chard is done. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take our vinegar, right? And we're going to get a paper towel. Knock the paper towels on the floor. I'll get that in a minute. And what we're going to do is we're going to wipe off each jar. Let me bring you over. Okay, so I have my vinegar here. I have my jars. I'm going to wipe them. Squeaky clean. I'm going to get a lid. Wipe it off with some vinegar. Put the lid on. fingertip tight. Don't crank it. See that? Comes off. Fingertip tight. You want air to be able to escape from that. Put it in there. Oh, I forgot one important thing. You need to debubble your jars. So put this. You can buy the tool, the debubbler. Move this stuff around to get rid of any air bubbles. Okay. I'm gonna wipe this off with some vinegar. Wipe the cap off with some vinegar. You want everything, especially if you're reusing your lids. And by lids, I mean these. This is lids and this is bands. Ebony and Ivory live together in perfect harmony. Side by side on my piano, keyboard. Oh Lord, why don't we? Who was that? Paul and Michael Jackson. Can't remember his whole name. Get a lid, wipe it off. Vinegar gets rid of all of that oily substance that may be on your jars. You always want to do this. I forgot to debubble. You always want to do it. There was a big old bubble in that one. Oh, they're coming up like, here I am. Okay. Just put the lid on. Oh, that's why I wipe the lid. Wipey, wipey, wipey. Into the can. Debubble. There was a big one in there too. I'm glad I remembered. Do you remember, girl? Oh boy, here we go. Oh. Jamaica, why? Why are you forgetting, girl? Need to take some ginkgo boba or something. There we go. Wipe it. Debubble. Well, I'll just debubble all of them. Put myself through this torture. And I know for you canners out there, why is she using that spoon? That's gonna crack the jar. Well, I broke my debubbler because I'm heavy-handed. So it's gone. And I can't find one without buying the entire set. And did I tell you guys before that I was a cheapskate? Okay, well now you know. If I have to buy a new set of utensils for canning, then I'll get another debubbler. Or maybe if I find one somewhere cheap, then I'll buy it. And then I'll have a debubbler. This does not have enough liquid in it. Shoo-be-doo-be-doo. Rudy, I better not hear a peep out of you. You had your freedom. You didn't enjoy it. You wanted to cock-a-doodle-doo. Annoy everybody. Some people still sleeping. It's Saturday. People like to sleep in on Saturdays, Rudy. I know he don't understand me. Well, he understand that I don't like the cock-a-doodle-doo, and every time he do it, he end up in a little box. It's not even a box. It's like a travel carrier. It's just big enough for him. It's a jail cell. To him it is anyway. All right, so I got the lid. Put my lids on. Bam. I hope I get all 11 in there. So out of all of that Swiss chard, I got 11 bottles. 11 bottles. Oh man, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get them all now. I think I only can get 10 in that bottom rack. We'll see. What am I doing? Wrong thing. Wipe my lid off. Put it on top. Fingertip tight. Put it with his brothers and sisters. I do not have enough room. I don't think I have enough room. Let me see here. I think I'm gonna put 4 on top. 4 on top. Continuing the process. I take some of the water out because they were looking like they wanted to float. I don't really follow instructions. Can you tell? Once I learn how to do something, I eyeball everything. That's why I went to school for culinary arts. And I was working with a executive chef that was a baker. A baker chef. A pastry chef is what they're called. And she took her work seriously. She was like, baking is exact measurement. You must weigh everything and do this. And I was like, oh Lord, I ain't gonna do well in this class. Because I could do it, but I'm so used to, I'm so used to doing things by just eyeballing stuff and doing things based on memory or by what I know of cooking, because I've been cooking since what? 10, 11 years old. That I don't follow exact measurements most of the time. I just do what I want to do. You don't have to after a while. You know what you know after a while. Well, she didn't like that. She gave me a B. I was insulted. I was thoroughly insulted. I was so mad at that lady. I think I talked about her once before. I was so mad at her. Anyway, I guess I can't be a pastry chef, even though I make pastry. She was like, they're exact measurements. I was like, lady, why? If it tastes good and it worked, why are you bothering me? Did you follow the instructions, Jamerica? And I didn't want to lie to her. I was like, I think I did. You're making me nervous, lady. So I'm gonna get this off, right? I got my my seal, but I want to put some oil on this seal. So let me go and get. Am I degrading my rubber? I hope not. Oh boy. Get some oil that I don't care about. I got peanut oil. Put some in the palm of my hand. Come on, peanut oil. Don't give it there. It is a little bit. All right, I'm take it on my hand. Put the oil around, round and round. There we go. I lost my seal. Lost my seal. Did I get it in there right? Here we go. Today, wait a minute. I got the pot. Don't do what I do. There's a little arrow here that's telling you where you should line it up here, right? But no, Jamerica wants to do it her way. The seal is falling off. Give me a break. I'm starting to get frustrated. I have it on there. I'm going to slide it on. All right. You need to check to see if you have your button here and your pop top here. Turn it on high. Candy will let you know if the seal is on it correctly because there'll be steam coming out of the sides, everywhere except where it's supposed to be, which is right here. Let me show you. This is where the steam's supposed to come out. If it's coming out from around here anywhere, you don't have a sealed a canner, and you turn the flame off, wait for the top to depress, then wait for another 10 minutes. Take the seal off, lid away from your face, and redo it. So we have our fire on high, and I'm gonna wait for this thing to pressurize. I'll let you know when the nipple comes up. When the nipple comes up, that's when we'll go on with the process. Nipple has raised, and we're gonna set our timer for 10 minutes. Uh-oh, timer 1. Remember, nipple has to raise. See that? Different canners are different. I have a Presto, so if you don't have this type of canner, it's different. It's a different deal. But normally, this is the nipple that you look for. That once it raises, set your timer for 10 minutes. 10 minutes. See that? The alarm has went off. We're gonna put our weight right here. See that? So the steam's coming out. Cover that up. And turn your timer off. So now we're just gonna watch this gauge, and once it gets up to just past 10, we're gonna start our timer. See that gauge right there? You see where it says caution? You don't want it there, and you do not want the gauge to fall below 10. Let me see if I get close. On this canner, this is the Presto. You do not want the gauge to fall below 10 PSI. So once it gets just past 10, I'm gonna start my timer. But we also don't want it to get to caution. If it goes above 11, I'm gonna turn the heat down, and with this, I'm gonna turn this heat down progressively the closer it gets to 10. But the main thing is to make sure it doesn't go to that caution button, and that it does not drop below 10 once you start your timer. If the gauge drops below 10, you have to start the entire process all over. So make sure you stay just above 10 and below, stay within the 10, 11 period. But if you are in a different area, I'm in Texas, and that's what our PSI is. Check your ball canning book or go online and find out what the PSI, but rule of thumbs is 10 pounds per square inch, the 10, okay? I'll see you once I get to 10. Okay, we have it just above 10. I'm gonna turn my flame down a little bit, just under 4, and I'm gonna set my timer for 90 minutes. Just to reiterate what I was saying, because this thing has pork in it, that means it has meat. I have to process it longer. So if you don't put meat in it, you don't have to process it for 90 minutes. But if you put meat in any of your vegetables, you have to go to the higher processing time because of the meat. Okay? Remember that. Go to your ball canning guide, but I'm telling you this. If you put fish in there, if you put fish in your vegetables, you have to go to 100 minutes. If you put meat in your vegetables, any other meat, because fish is not considered a meat because it's a cold-blooded animal. Check it out. I just found out a couple of years ago, I thought it was meat. That's why people eat fish during Lent, because it's not considered meat. Anyway, let's go back into the canning. 90 minutes for meat, 100 minutes for fish. Even if it's just a flavoring in your vegetables, you have to go to the higher processing time. Go to your ball canning guide for any other, for any other questions. I'm not the authority on this. I'm just telling you what I know. Okay, so we're gonna process it for this. I'm getting ready to call it callaloo. Callaloo is always on my mind. This was Chard for 90 minutes because I put pork in it. Okay. Minute timer just went off. Turn the fire off and let it sit. Let it sit until the nipple, this nipple right here, depressed. Then we'll take the weight off and we'll let it sit another 10 minutes. But first, we're gonna wait till this thing drops. I'll see you then when the nipple drops. Guess what, y'all? I forgot to show you the part where I open this thing up. So once this gauge drops, once the nipple drops, This one that says top on it. Once that depresses, you can take your weight off, right? I choose to wait an additional 10 minutes. You don't have to, but you got to be very careful. Please wait another 10 minutes if you have time, okay? Unless you're in a rush. If not, if you have to go to work, you could just leave this can at just how it is. Make sure you turn the flame. Make sure you turn the heat off. Turn the heat off. And, you know, it should be off already. But if you haven't, turn the heat off. And wait till this thing depresses. Wait till this goes down. Take your weight off, right? After about 10 minutes, I take the weight off. Then we're going to open the lid very carefully, right? Twist it off. Sometimes it gets a little stuck. You just have to work it off. You take this thing and you flip the lid. You see I'm flipping it away from me, right? And then I'll just walk away. All of the steam in this canner is going to come gushing up. You do not want your face there. That's why you turn the lid that way. Then you let your can sit in there an additional 10 minutes and you put them out and you put them down in a spot where they're going to be for the next 24 hours. This stuff does not move. This is not moving for another 24 hours. So make sure you put it in a spot that you're not going to want to use, because that's where it needs to stay. You can interrupt the processing of the cans and pop the seal, or the seal fails on you early. So just leave it there 24 hours, 24 hours or more. Usually when I move these things out the way, they're cold. It's the next day, it's over 24 hours. So let's get on with the rest of the video. So this is what Jamaica did this week. There's 11 cans of Swiss chard, processed and canned. It's still bubbling if you look at it. This was done, I don't know, 2-3 days ago. I have one bowl here with peppers and tomatoes, and then one bowl here, same thing. All right. I have 3 callaloo, 4 pickles, and I did process pickles this week, about 3 jars. Some okra, I'm gonna freeze that. Okra is about to take off, it's about to blow up. One regular tomato and some peppers. There we are. That's just this week. And I'm picking this stuff because it's starting to dry. Excuse me. It's starting to die on me. It's really hot out here. I'm trying to keep stuff watered. It's a struggle though, because it's over 100 degrees. Alexa, what's the temperature out today?
Right now, it's 91 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, it's 91.
Tonight, expect a low of 76 degrees.
Lucky me. 91 degrees, it felt like 100. So we haven't had rain in going on, I don't know, not a good rain. We had a sprinkle, that don't count for nothing. It just evaporated. We haven't had a good rain for almost, it feels like a month to me. I might be wrong, but I might be right. So here we are. There we are. Go ahead and get some seeds together because wintertime is coming, right? We can still process stuff. It's time to pick out the seeds you want for fall. I'm sorry, people up north, y'all just have one growing season, but down here, down south, we have 2, sometimes 3. Some people have all year long growing season. If you're in Florida or in South Texas, y'all are tropical. But for us people who are in the subtropics, which is me and a lot of people, we have 2 growing seasons. So people, get your seeds together. And for those that take a long time to germinate, like peppers take two weeks just for you to see a little sprout. Let me fix this. Just for you to see a little sprout. And you think it's not going to come up, but they're coming up. They're doing their thing underground. So there are some things that take a long time to germinate, and you need to start picking them out now and planting them in the house, or if you have a greenhouse that has controlled weather, because a lot of people have high tunnels, and if you plant some of them high tunnels, they're gonna burn up because a high tunnel is no control heat. It's actually hotter sometimes. Oh, they're popping. It actually is hotter sometimes in those high tunnels. So if you have a greenhouse that has a controlled environment where you can maintain a steady, reasonable amount of heat, not dry up everything, go ahead and plant them. Otherwise, you're going to be like me and have seeds on your table, on TV trays. Oh, they're popping, they're popping, they're popping. Hear that? That is a seal. That is a seal. So that's it for today. Do not be discouraged. Go ahead and plant your stuff. You got radishes. You got a whole bunch of stuff that'll grow in 60 days. If you're up north, you better get on the move. Get the move on so you can have some of this. You don't have to pay for all that stuff. I know that it's expensive up there. My mom lives up there, and I do all kind of stuff. I do her shopping for her, and man, I'm turning my pockets inside out trying to keep whatever she wants in stock. Because it costs, I mean, it's ridiculous up in New York City, New York. It's expensive. It was always expensive, but now it's worse. I can complain down here, but comparing the prices, ooh, I love that sound. Comparing the prices between Texas and New York, whoo, night and day. Night and day. So let's get to it. Let's put some stuff in the ground. I wish I was up north to make my mama do something, but she ain't gonna do it. She do what she want to do. She threw some mint down. I know y'all like mint. Mint will take over your entire yard and you will not be able to get rid of it. And that's what she's going through right now. She threw down some peppermint seeds. She thought she was doing the right things. Ooh, it's gonna smell so good. There won't be any bugs back here. No, there won't be nothing back there except that, and it sticks. If you put peppermint or spearmint, I don't know about spearmint, but I know peppermint. You put that in the ground, the seeds are gonna go everywhere. It's gonna take over your yard. You can't walk on it because it's sticky. It's got it's like a mini tree. And she's always like, oh, when you leave, take some peppermint with you. She dries it out and gives it to neighbors, and man, she can't get rid of it. She's had it for like 15 years. Her whole backyard is full of peppermint. It's a blessing for some people, but she can't grow anything because peppermint's popping up everywhere. So, and I'm gonna get off my soapbox. I don't have any peppermint growing here because I saw what happened to her. And if I want any, I just go home. I get a garbage bag full, not a garbage bag, but a Walmart bag full, and it's all already dry. She dries it out on the back patio. So, anyway, I like herbs, but sometimes herbs can get out of control. I like food, stuff I can eat. So if you all want to do it, go ahead and do it. It's not too late. Do not give up on yourself. Just get a pack of seeds. I'm still getting seeds in. Look, I wanted some blueberry tomatoes. And you know how many seeds they put in here? It says 10 plus seeds. That's how many seeds I got. And it says that it says what, 94% germination tested? So I counted the seeds. There are 12 seeds in here, 12. And it wasn't cheap. Plant what you want. It's not too late. And go ahead and get your harvest. This is America 5288. I'm going to get off my little soapbox. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to listen to my cans pop. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.